I'm Matsuzaki, a psychiatrist. Have you ever noticed this situation? Someone gets a haircut, and women notice it right away, but men often don't. Of course, it depends on the individual. There are men who do notice changes in hairstyles, and women who don't. But between lovers or married couples, it's easy to imagine a situation where a woman gets her hair cut. The man doesn't notice it and then gets scolded with something like, "How could you not notice that I cut my hair?" In fact, according to a questionnaire survey, the proportion of people who said they do not notice changes in others' hairstyles was 47.9% for men and 25.4% for women. In other words, the number of people who fail to notice changes in someone's hairstyle is about twice as high among men as among women. It seems men generally have a harder time recognizing changes in hair. This topic hasn't been thoroughly studied from a scientific perspective. However, we can say the following. First, when perceiving things, men tend to grasp the overall picture as a whole, while women tend to pay closer attention to the details. Women may be more likely to notice subtle changes, including small changes in hairstyles. Second, women tend to have more hair than men in volume and length. When a man cuts his relatively short hair, the percentage of change is larger. But when a woman cuts her longer hair, the change in ratio is much smaller. We tend to notice changes not based on how many grams of hair were cut, but rather on the proportion of hair that has been reduced relative to the whole appearance. Men who get a haircut may be more likely to be noticed by those around them, while women who get a haircut may be less likely to be noticed. And third, in general, women tend to care more about hairstyles than men do in everyday life. While men tend to choose hairstyles that follow a certain set of patterns, women tend to use a wider variety of hairstyles to shape or manage the impression they give to others. From an evolutionary psychology perspective, maintaining healthy, youthful hair is often thought to serve as a visible signal of high reproductive fitness in women. It is therefore natural that women who tend to have a greater interest in hairstyles are more likely to notice changes in other people's hairstyles. So, speaking as a representative of men, there are 4 things I should tell the women watching this. First, not noticing changes in hairstyles is simply because we are men, so it can't be helped. Second, what men are paying attention to is not your hairstyle, but you yourselves as a whole. It's not that men aren't looking at you. We are. Third, women who expect men to play that kind of spot the difference game are being unfair, or frankly, a bit mean-spirited. And fourth, the seriousness of a man's crime for not noticing that a woman got a haircut is about the same as a woman not noticing that a man has replaced his computer keyboard or mouse. So when it comes to whether we notice that someone has cut their hair, I'm honestly not very good at noticing. So please don't blame me. That was my excuse after all. Hey.